All right, and it looks like we are now live. Luke, it's good to see you
Right.
again, my friend. How are you?
Good to see you, Andy.
Yeah, well, I know there's a whole lot going on. I think half of our team is en route to Amsterdam, and I know the team over at Crust has been crazy busy. I know we had just talked about all the different things you guys are up to, and I was diving a little bit deeper into some of the newer releases. We'll get to that, but I guess before we get started, man, I like to start these off with an icebreaker, get to know a little bit more about the people behind the project. And I
Yeah.
do my best to get a curveball. So, if this is something that, it takes a little bit to think about, that's okay. I wonder about yourself. When you were young, I always love to hear about what a person was like in the littler years. What was something that was so embarrassing? Like, I mean, just you were mortified as a kid. But then you
So
look at that now and it's like, okay, yeah, no, it was silly. What is that for you?
so embarrassing. Let me think. Mm, okay. So when I was actually on the primary school, uh, let me think about this. Yeah. Uh, Yeah, actually, we have very like manipulate like gunfire. Actually, it's very popular going on my like living place, like on my neighborhood. So I was used to like play this gun war or gunfight with some kids on a very like super early stage. But it's just a manipulate stuff, something like that. Yeah. Anyway, I was just uh, going to play like hide and seek games during this fun gunfight. I was very frightened to be like shoot by somebody, and so I was just like hide in a. I see seems like a carbonate and but actually like no one can find me, and I was just staying there a whole night. Yeah, that is like super awkward, but that's just
Dude,
a very
I didn't realize you had such a hardcore upbringing. My goodness, Luke.
yeah, that was just crazy, but that's super awkward. But because when my mother find me and it's just why you just hiding all night, I would just say I was so afraid to be like shoot by somebody. Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wow, that is
What
hardcore.
about
Well,
you?
man,
And yeah.
to say that again.
What about you? Yeah.
Man, I think as far as an awkward time, all right, so it is nothing as cool as yours, like I slapped a bear or anything, but
Yeah.
um, no, I was a real awkward kid when it came to talking to girls. It was like very, very uncomfortable for me. And I was like the nerdiest kid, and I had the geekiest giant circle glasses, and I loved them. They were like yellow and blue, and like very colorful.
Wow.
Not normal in small town
Really?
Texas. And so I walked up to this girl and just like I tried to talk to myself, not literally throwing up, but like the words didn't come out, and it was in front of a whole bunch of people, and instead it was like the words went inside out and backwards. And I really just I did just want to die in that moment. And I look back when I'm older, and it's like that's so silly as a kid, but as a child, I thought it was a big deal. Nothing
Yeah.
like hiding from bullets, though.
Yeah. That's
Oh, it's so
insane.
funny. Well,
Yeah.
man, it's something where I know that in this chat we're gonna take some time and talk about the basics of blockchain data. It's one of the things I was talking about shortly after our last meeting, actually, with our team, which is most projects in Web3 will slap the decentralized brand on their name, and talk about how they're pursuing decentralization, the decentralization triangle. But the fact is, a project isn't decentralized if their data is on Google or Amazon exclusively. It's just not possible to be decentralized while the entire backbone is in a centralized system. And so I thought it'd be pretty cool for us to go and jam and talk about those, I guess, those less sexy but also very important details that a lot of people don't think about. And I think they're really cool, but it's something where to go into the trenches a little bit and talk about, well, what actually makes a decentralized data project, especially from the storage side of things.
Yeah. Yes,
So
I think I think you're right, because nowadays, especially in both like DeFi project or even the like NFT project, they didn't like care more about the decentralized storage, and they just store like the OpenSea. They just store all of the NFT metadata on the Google Cloud. Can you believe it? Because the whole like NFT asset is decentralized for sure on the different platforms, but the data itself is like stored in a centralized version. That's super awkward to me. Yeah, because and especially some of the like the metaverse project, they do really care about the decentralization, but the data itself still like stored in the centralized storage. So that just to me is just needs to be changed, right? And and also I know the Subsquid doing like the whole bunch of like decentralization about the like the data streaming and some query stuff. So I think that's cool, because we just involved several like involved the whole Subsquid on our several production, which I think is cool and I think is useful. Yeah.
for sure, it's one of those things I remember. I don't know exactly when it was. Sometime last year, there was an Amazon outage, and we knew which projects had Amazon as the backend because they all went out at exactly the same time. And at Subsquid, it's one of those things where we had built Subsquid in mind, like from the foundation of the tech stack, to be able to be flexible, to connect with whether that's just the on-chain data from a specific parachain, or perhaps someone wants to integrate price feeding data from CoinGecko and put that into their queries. And
Yeah.
one of the things I was real interested in when it comes to Crust and how you guys just chose your tech stack, what fundamentals, like what were those characteristics that when you guys were thinking about what Crust should become, what were those like they cannot be changed? You knew there were principles you needed to uphold as you built out the technology. What were your most important variables?
Yes, I think the whole stuff Crust care about is a general file, or like the general data piece data storage. So like we are actually a protocol, incentive layer protocol beyond the IPFS protocol. So what IPFS encourage people does is what we encourage people does. So that means actually we build a whole decentralized world where we provide the blockchain reward to like different peoples to encourage them to spare their storage volume to the whole disk to the whole network and get the blockchain reward back. So that's the basic and essential things we did. But beyond that, we also built like a online ordering system like the Uber. So like anybody who has storage needs, we match their like storage needs with the users, the storage users, and the storage miners. So that's the thing we do, and we like build up. Yeah.
That's neat. It's like creating this the sustainable marketplace and making sure that it's sustainable by somebody's got to be there providing storage, and then someone who's looking
Yeah.
for storage needs to be able to connect. I love that image of the Uber of storage. So I
Yeah.
wonder, when I think about data storage, and I'm very much a junior when it comes to the overly techie side of things, but it reminds me of Dropbox back in the day, like the early 2000s, where maybe it was mid 2000s, I don't know, but I remember Amazon came out with, I think it was S3, and it was something that was not exactly business friendly. Like if you're just a normal entrepreneur, you try to wander into S3, you're not going to set very much stuff up. And Dropbox, it was pretty much built on top of S3 and made it to where there was a user interface that made it simple. There was a pricing structure that was reasonable, and they scaled to be worth billions, and I believe it's in the tens of billions now, if not higher. I mean, the valuations are massive. So is this kind of
Yeah.
similar, like, but with IPFS, or how does it work?
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good like angle. So Actually, the whole Crust is built a thing very much like the AWS S3. Yeah, that's way like provided the on-chain but decentralized storage interface. But for the developers and for the the sophisticated developer or users, it's not very like very super easy to use. But you can like construct the like applications based on the whole like storage interface. Like you mentioned, Andy, you can build a like decentralized version of Dropbox, which already has we have a Crust files, which allows you very easy to use, and you can actually add more like functions into your applications, but just beyond our whole storage network. So the whole Crust files it just not only like the decentralized storage, but you can like also do the end-to-end encryption. You can like own your data ownership. Yeah, own your data itself. So you don't need to like store the data into the Facebook, which will leak your data. And like, yeah, so anybody, you don't need to care any more about maybe like GDPR, some stuff, because you just own your own data. You're responsible for your own data. Nobody can just steal your data. So that's the thing we are like building on. But you can also build a different like applications based on the Crust network. Now like several like defined projects already using Crust as a storage layer, like the Uniswap or Avi. They just like hosting their whole website on the Crust network because it will make their website unstoppable. Yeah, so that's the thing. Yeah.
That's awesome, because I think as a layman's, I'm in the tech world now, but most of my life I wasn't. When I think of data storage, I think about like a video file or maybe a document or a PDF. So that's really cool to look at it from the software perspective or the website perspective, and to think, well, that website has to exist somewhere. And if that place that it exists, you don't control, you don't own, you never know if someone's going to get grumpy on the other end and decide to, all of a sudden your CDN doesn't support quite as much traffic, and now there's challenges. So what's the scalability like then? If someone has a website like a Uniswap and they have a major spike in volume, I'm curious, does that cause difficulties, or what does the Crust network do in those kind of situations?
Okay, so here is this thing. If you like using Uniswap in a totally Web3 way, actually there is no like scalability, because once you store your like whatever your website or your data into the Crust network, there will be like nearly 200 nodes store the data for you. Like the BitTorrent network, the more seeds you got, the like more the faster you will like access your data or your file. So if you like use the Uniswap in the Web3 way, there is like barely no scalable question or problems there. So, but if you like use the like the Uniswap in the totally Web2 way, like you just click the link and or your URL into access it, so that it did have scalability problem, because you need to like there is a concept called like gateway. You that pretty much like the entry from the Web2 to the Web3.
Like the
So
portal,
the
yeah.
gateway, yeah. So the gateway is very much like you need to like solve the bad question or the like the whole scalability question. But anyway, the gateway you are like aiming at, you can choose multiple of this. So like in Crust network, we provide like dozens of the gateways you can choose. So that pretty much like the blockchain endpoint. Like you can choose like Infura as an entry to the Ethereum network. You can choose a different like the node providers to the to the blockchain. That's more like the entries from the Web2 world to the Web3 world. But if you like using in a totally Web3 way, there is like no scalability, no questions in the traditional Web2 world. Yeah.
That's really neat. Well, cause I was poking through the I forgot which, if I was inside of Crust files or inside of the other one, but it showed how many I guess how many nodes that data was duplicated across. And just as I would say I'm like a data visibility degen. I just love it whenever anybody has transparency of what's happening behind the scenes. And it made me wonder, you know, as you guys are encouraging developers to be able to build with Crust and being able to build with a more decentralized approach, what data do you see on applications, specifically in the Web3 world, that you think is important to be able to share with people? And yeah, just to I think a lot of that is ambiguous for folks.
Yeah, so I think the like the most obvious scenario is the block self, right? So
Really?
so like the subscript. So we are like we're trying to like store the whole block data. Like if you see the whole Ethereum network, there will be like seems like over 10 terabytes, or if not 20. So that's a huge amount of data. So the miners they like sync the full node of the from the Ethereum. They need to download the whole like 20 maybe terabytes data first. Then it will like become like a full node of Ethereum. So the first biggest like the biggest target scenario is the block itself. So if like anybody can store the block into like a decentralized network, and like they can like retrieval in a Web3 way, which has no like scalability or bandwidth problem, that would be super cool. So I think there is like a bunch of project aiming at this, like in the Solana or like Polygon, they have several project aiming at this. But that's the biggest, I think, the most obvious data storage scenario. But the second one, I think, is the social fi stuff. Like you mentioned, Andy, the people can like store like the video or the median data on the traditional like Web2 world. But what if they want to like store the data in the Web2, especially in the social fi scenario, like the decentralized social media? So if they they cannot like store the social media data into a centralized like service, right? Because they need to like the biggest feature about the decentralized social media is the ownership. So they need to own their own data. So
Yeah.
they need to like store into the decentralized like storage. So I think that's the second scenario. And the third one, I think, is the NFT or the metaverse stuff. They need to like track, yeah, store the whole like the metadata or stuff into the decentralized network. Yeah.
Well, see, I've found it's fascinating to be able to dive deeper into the metadata inside of these chains, because there was there's some things that can be a bit confusing up on the surface. You know, if we take a look at governance protocols or a governance system where it sounds pretty simple. Someone submits a proposal, other people vote on it, it's either accepted or rejected. But I was talking with Massimo, our developer advocate, and he was explaining and showing me how if you look at the metadata for what arguments are being passed through, you might have a deposit address for who's putting in the initial deposit for a proposal, unless their proposal gets accepted, so the money gets sent to them. Well, now the money is being deposited into an address, but there's no system that correlates that it's the same address that's available. So it's these kind of weird, nuancy systems where unless someone's a developer actively building, like, then this is what Subsquid solves. This is why it was created. It was to take these weird data types and mix them together. So yeah, I guess I wonder,
Yeah.
when it comes to building with Crust, what funny things do you see that are just shows just how early we are and some of the opportunities of how to Crust can make things faster for developers?
Yeah, I think actually the whole like the decentralized area is about the decentralized storage area is super like in the very early stage. And there is like a bunch of problems we need to like solve. Like I mentioned before, there is a like gateway issue, like the entries between the Web2 and Web3. I think we actually really need like a web web Web3 version of browser, not only like using the
So like,
Chrome, right?
yeah,
Like Brave did several things that like the Brave also like
yeah.
integrated with the IPFS stuff or the whole decentralized hosting or some stuff. But I think we need to do like more things. Like maybe someday, I don't know if you like try with the IPFS desktop or some like decentralized storage desktop or applications. They are just the only thing they require people to do is input like a CID information, which is a unique string. Yeah, so that you can access the content, and you don't need to worry about some like DNS hijack, because the CID, the unique string, is actually unique. Yes, so nobody can like steal the content or hijack the content from you to the user, because there is no you, because there is no service you hosted. The whole content the hosted is like decentralized and distributed in the whole world. So the users access the content. They're just like access from the whole world. So that's actually, I think, the first thing we need to like improve. And there is like a bunch of opportunities, like you
I
can
was
like
going to say, my mind is spinning. That sounds incredibly innovative, that it doesn't require any other middlemen, I guess, to convert that. That sounds very secure. That sounds like you
yes,
have not just ownership, but actual safety, which is weird to think
yes,
of on the internet. Wow.
yes. That is the key, like the biggest like attractive stuff from the IPFs or the whole decentralized storage. So actually beyond this like angle, we have like bunch of like opportunities. Like we can did like a Web3 browser for real, and more like user friendly stuff. And also we can like doing some like extension plugins into the brief, which already became a Web3 browser. But also we can do some like data integration stuffs, and but just build top of the like the decentralization, like the Google, like the decentralized search engine. But
Okay,
it's
yeah,
just
because you have these
but it's,
CIDs and stuff instead of DNS. It's just a different
yes,
type of thing. See, this is a
yes,
really cool backbone conversation we're having, because I think it's one of those things that I know I felt like I understood Crust data management, but I'm getting it even deeper, because that means
yeah,
that where we actually are in terms of technology is putting together those systems pre-Google, and
yeah,
that's where
yeah,
blockchain is
yes,
actually at.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah. And yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and also that another like interesting thing is about actually in the future world, from my personal like idea, is the whole data is encrypted. Like you
Mhm.
cannot access the data very easily. Like if I type my name into the Google, I can like I can see the entire life of myself, right? And there is like no privacy stuff. I can see where I'm from and where I will going, probably like when I will die, right? And I think in the future Web3 world, the whole data is encrypted. But we actually have some like technologies like the zero knowledge algorithm, or like the TEE stuff, or like the MPC technology. We can browser the whole data, but it's under encrypted. We just chose what
Wow.
we want people to see, what is not. That
So
is
this is
actually
fascinating.
yeah,
So I gotta ask them, because you start throwing around acronyms like MPC or ZKP and TEE. These are
yeah,
foreign. We might as well be speaking Korean for some people. But if I understand them right, we got zero knowledge proof, multi-party
yes,
computation, and
yes.
what is TEE?
T is trusted encrypted environment. So that
Trusting
is
to the environment.
yes,
So each of these things, as I kind of gather, is that they make it to where computers are able, or data is able to be moved, or data is able to be processed, without having to expose the information itself. An example, I guess, I wonder, because this is now I understand I guess the vision of Crust even better than I did previously. I thought the tens of billions of dollar Dropbox thing is cool, but now I realize it's even bigger, because if I've got a smartwatch, it's on me all the time. Maybe one of those Aura rings, and it's there when I'm sleeping. It's there when I'm walking. It probably has GPS data of where I've been. That is private, sensitive, and valuable information, which I'd probably want to process, and being a nerd, I would certainly want to archive it to do my own data analysis, but it would be a risk as well, because if that was to fall into the wrong hands, if that could be joined somehow with other people. So it sounds as if what is really being built is like the foundation for the foundation, where we're still talking about how to get these CIDs to connect and to play nicely with the gateways that already exist. When what we're really building towards is where, yeah, everyone just has the Aura ring and it has all of this sensitive data, and they are not in the slightest concerned about someone else taking it. No different than if I have my card in a wallet. I'm not worried that if I walk by someone, they're just going to take all my money out of it.
Yes.
Wow.
That's super interesting. And Andy, actually, there is also another interesting point, because some nowadays the DAO is very popular, and
Yeah.
the X to learn, the concept of X to learn is very popular. Like we actually created the very like a little like maybe activity or promotion activity on our like test network, but we just give them or airdrop the real token, the real CRU token to them. It's called store to learn. Like you can imagine if you just store any data like your pictures, back up your iOS system, but you can get money back. So that's we encourage people to store the data. Like we want to promote the concept of decentralized storage.
Yeah, because
So
it's a different concept. So you can get people
yeah,
started out with it, testing it out, kind of like a trial phase almost. And then when people see the benefit, like how I am, and I'm sure some of the people watching can start to see, it spreads the
exactly.
adoption.
Yeah. That's pretty much like the store to learn to earn. Yeah, but if you just store data, but you just earn.
Store to earn. And is this a program that what's the time limits on this, or how long is this going for? Because it sounds pretty cool. I want to check it out.
Yeah, but it's already like end. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, but it's
It's
just
fascinating because I was talking with someone from the Interlay team, and we were discussing about how it's not just Polkadot, but really blockchain as a whole. There's an education gap. Some people can be intimidated by all these, weird words, and of course we've got our own style within blockchain community. And we were discussing like what can we do as projects to be able to make building more accessible. And it really kind of brought up the question to me, which I'd love to bring up with yourself here and hear your thoughts, which is at the stage that we're at, it seems like there's multiple things that it looks like we need. Maybe we need more investors, more money. A lot of projects looking for that, but maybe we need more developers. But then it's like, well, there's different types of developers, because a data engineer and a web designer are totally different, but they're both devs.
yeah.
So from your perspective, what do you see as far as those valuable, if someone's looking at blockchain, they're looking at getting into Web3, how would you break down the opportunities that you see in the field?
Yeah, I think because we can. I think the DAO organization will like replace the like traditional like blockchain,
That'd be
right?
so
Like the
cool.
miner and the token holder just consist with the miner and token holder blockchain. The DAO will like replace the whole like
Wow.
traditional blockchain. In my like personal idea, but I think the DAO organization is more complicated than the traditional traditional participants in the old blockchain ways. Like we will have the core member or the core team to like start this whole project, but we will have like the bounty hunters, which will insist of like different like developers, maybe designers, and maybe some marketing guy or some BD guys, right? They can just join this project, which called work to earn. If we want to like simplify the whole like earn stuff, we can just treat them to like work to earn, like including the core team. They don't need to like be some like important role into the project, because the good project need to own by the whole community. So and also beyond beyond this like bounty hunter, we will have maybe some advocates or some ambassadors who wants to join the project, want to assist the project, want to help the project growth. So then it will be like token holders. So that actually different angles. Like the traditional miner will like transfer into like more like the maintain to earn something. You maintain the network, you're doing like the authoring or some stuff, you deserve the blockchain reward back. So that's different, especially we like going with the Ethereum the version 2. They are like transfer from the POW to the
The
POS.
great
So
merge, the long
yeah,
awaited.
the great merge. So there is like no traditional like miners anymore. So they will be transferred into the network maintainers. So yeah.
That's a true. It's interesting the perspective that you have there, because you've got a store to earn, work to earn, call it learn to earn. But basically, I'm hearing a transfer of value that is different than the model of, just call it, Web 2 world, where the transfer of value in where Web 3 is going, and arguably where some parts of it are now, it's more so finding out, well, what is the value that you can provide, and then what DAO can you add that value to? Because I've worked in a couple of different communities, and it really is something where it's like, usually there's a lot of people available looking to help. And the projects themselves, you've got people that are very, very busy doing whatever they're doing. And there's definitely opportunities for folks, but the folks don't really know what they can do. And then the people who are busy, they have a specific frame that they're looking at. So it almost sounds like that you're describing is a reversing the roles, looking at it as, well, what value can you provide that is going to be able to have some kind of exchange, and to be thinking in this DAO native mindset that's like, how can I support this community, whether that's design, whether that's development, whatever that might be, and then to offer that in some way, at which point I could see that creating a lot more opportunities. So instead of looking at it as, well, you should be a developer that does data pipelines, instead to look at it like, well, what value can you offer to an organization, and then start from there.
Yeah. Yes. Actually, the most technology stack from the developer perspective, you can use in the Web3, like the website developer or like data analyst. Like if you are like a traditional data analysis or the like the machine learning stuff, maybe it's super early for the decentralized learning. Like
yeah, now we're getting into my vision in future, because I can't wait till that's the standard.
Yes. But actually, the most of the technology stack is suitable for the Web3 world. Like you also need to like develop an application on the iOS, because people like get used of it, especially in the lifestyle application like Starbucks application or like running Nike running application. But you can like create in a super like Web3 way. You can imagine like people drink a coffee but earn money. So that's basically way a very
Drink to
interesting.
earn, that's something I can support.
Yeah. So actually, that's very interesting angle for the production level. But in the to the technology stack, there's no change, I think. So all the like Web2 developers who can join the Web3 world to provide, maybe you need to like learn some new stuff, some like decentralized stuff or Web3 concept. But to me, I think it's super easy, because I used to like work in a Web2 company.
What did you do in Web 2?
Yeah, I worked in the Microsoft Azure team. So I'm doing like the Kubernetes stuff on the Azure team. So, but it's for me, it's not very long to like get used of the Web3 world. I'm not really like a quick learner, but to me, I'm like super easy to get used of the whole stuff, because that's like more actually it's more like casually, because the whole thing is not it's very nature, because you own your data. It's actually it's like born this way, right? But so it should be like I should own my data. So like some stuff concept in the Web3 is very natural to me. So to like get it, yeah.
I like that. Well, one of the things it makes me wonder then, because I guess this is my observation, but I see a lot of folks in Web2 that they're interested, they're curious, they're Web3 curious, but they haven't quite made that leap. And most of the times when I talk to folks in Web2, they see a big difference between Web2 and Web3. Yet as I'm
Okay.
thinking about it now, it is something where we do need analysts, we need designers, we need standard web developers with a mastery in JavaScript and Node and the same functions that are used in Web 2. So I guess that's one of those things where I look at where Crust is going and the way that, I mean, you guys have really invested in creating an accessible user experience, being able to showcase exactly what Crust does and how it works. So I wonder from that perspective of how do we help support people that are maybe looking to get into Web3 and to help out and to try something. How would you suggest somebody starts?
Let me think. Yeah, actually, if you like build some like decentralized application beyond and like any of like the for example beyond us, beyond the Crust, there is like no difference for. It's actually super easy for the whole like all the developers to get into the whole Crust ecosystem, because we only provide the JavaScript SDK for the developers, which makes them to very easy to like use it. And we also have like the pinning service or the gateway stuff, which allows the whole developer no need to interact with any like of our blockchain. So you don't
Wow.
even know any concept of the blockchain itself. So but actually but if you want to like interact with a different like smart platform, you do need to like uh, know some concept or
Yeah.
some blockchain stuff. But most of the smart contract platform, they provide some very easy SDKs for you. Like the Ethereum, they just provide the hard hat for you to like get into it. So actually for me, I think there is no barrier for the whole developers to like get in touch with the Web3 technology stack.
Yeah, it looks like it
Yes, you
sounds
can
pretty
like start.
accessible.
Yes.
So Luke, it makes me wonder then, because it's what was it out of all the projects that are out there? What attracted you to the idea of Crust? What made you choose here?
Okay, so actually, I read when I was on my like master degree, and I read a white paper from the Protocol Labs. They are just talking about the whole IPFS stuff, and
Uh-huh.
actually not Filecoin that time, but just IPFS stuff. So I I was like super exciting about the whole concept. They want to like build the internet, which cannot be like unstoppable internet. The whole
Yeah.
concept, like they can like help the homeless children or the different like government or some stuff, the politics, like they cannot forbidden your website or your data, and which makes me like super exciting. Like the whole
Yeah.
concept makes me super exciting. So I was get take a like deeper look about the IPFS, the protocol stack, which I think is great. So I just decided to like explore more about the decentralized storage. So
Yeah.
when I found the Crust project, I decided to like join it to in a very early stage on the like protocol design or some stuff, because the whole IPFS is more like a BitTorrent protocol. If you
Yeah.
don't have any nodes to store data for you, there is no like meaningless. So you need to like create a incentive layer beyond the IPFS so that the Filecoin board. So the Crust are mostly doing the same thing, but we saw the solution of the Filecoin, they're just using the ZK. So the whole sealing process is very slow. So we just choose to like use a different technology to solve this problem. So which is faster of the whole like sealing process. So that way I just joined the Crust and
Yeah, you saw the faster horse and you thought, okay, well, that's pretty cool, and
yeah.
decided to get it. So then, whenever you see, because I know, especially with Polkadot as an ecosystem, we're pretty early. I mean, call it the internet of blockchains, where the XCM really just coming out. Super stoked for that next upgrade. I think it's 9.2. I was so excited to see XCM coming out soon. But I wonder then, when it comes down to what happens next with Crust? What are the next major things that just get you excited, make you leap out of bed? What can people be looking forward to coming up, in the next, let's say, quarter? They're coming up later on this year.
Yeah, we actually did super like several like cool thing. I think which when we like launched our mainnet like last September, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the most like major stuff we want to solve is the cross chain storage solution
Yeah.
for us. Like you mentioned, Andy, there is the very fascinating things about the XCMP
Yeah.
protocol, like which will like very coming soon on the whole Polkadot ecosystem. So on the Polkadot ecosystem, I think we provide like a palette called Crust storage, which is called X storage for the different parachains to store, bridge their storage needs using the XCM to the Crust blockchain
Wow.
itself. So yeah, because right now we've already become the parachain of the Kusama,
Yeah.
so we're like trying to testing the whole cross storage solution with actually with the Akala, R-Star, and the Moonbeam. So we are just testing this whole functionality. But actually, there is also different platforms. Like we think about the Solana, the Ethereum, the whole Ethereum compatible blockchain like the Polygon or the BSC, and also the Near ecosystem. We also want to bring them in. Like if they have the storage needs, we want to like make sure they can store into the Crust.
So
Actually,
you guys, interoperability is a huge part of this.
yes, so we just release our cross-chain storage solution for those platform, non-Polkadot ecosystem. But our like decentralized cross-chain storage solution is pretty decentralized. We do not have a very like very centralized concept to like listen their like contract interactive event and to like write into the Crust blockchain. We're just using different ways to solve, like more elegant ways to solve this cross-chain storage solution. But right now, like the Ethereum user or the Near user or Solana user can just store the data using the smart contract in the very 100% native way to bridge their storage needs to the Crust storage to the Crust blockchain. But right now we are just want to make it like better. So we're just trying to solve some like different small detailed problems right now to make our cross chain on those platforms better. But actually on the on the Polkadot ecosystem, I think it's perfect using the XCM, right?
Yeah, that's amazing that you guys are already stretched between these different blockchain environments. Especially, I remember going through there, I saw the Solana wallet attached, and I thought, is
Yes.
that is so cool. So one of the things I was super curious on, because there are I want to be able to connect with as many people as possible who are maybe on the fence about Web3, or maybe what I find a lot of is folks that they're in it, they're in the communities, they're following the discords. Perhaps they've tried to build something here and there, and maybe they even have built something, but they haven't yet found that opportunity where they're either working in a DAO, or they've started their own project, or they're really just looking to be able to just close the deal towards something they wanted to build. And I know you were talking to me about some different education systems that you guys are doing, going out to different hackathons and going to universities, and like having these ways you can communicate with people that are looking to get in to this industry. And I was wondering, what are the main challenges that you see that a lot of people face, and what advice do you have for them?
Okay, so actually the whole Crust like ecosystem do included some like the programs for the developers. Like we have grants. So if you want to like build top on Crust, you will like uh, get up to like 30,000 USDTs to like support your project. So that's the one of the part. And second of all, we host some like hackathon events,
Yes.
both online and offline. We just finished the offline hackathon in India, and we encourage like different developers to join our to join Crust and build top on Crust. And we also have bounties on the Gitcoin. So if you want to solve a very specific question, we will like open the very specific like problems on the Gitcoin, like
That's
hosting
awesome.
data for different like project, and you can like apply for them and get some like money back. So that's actually what we support, encourage different developers and to join our network, to use our to use us. And also once we like release out our like cross-chain solution, storage solution, like
Yeah,
more developers from different platforms can
that's going
like
to be huge.
use
Yeah.
Rust. Yes, that will be like huge. So we just a co-hackathon with different like platforms. Like we have already co-hackathon with the Nears MetaBuild, with the Polygons Build It, and I think the Hackos Global Hackathon, and we just like provide the challenges to their hackathons. Like we also doing some workshop or the similar during the hackathon to like explain how to use Crust and how to like integrate with those like platform with Crust to like store the data. Yes.
Man, I just love how you guys have made it to where, regardless of ecosystem, you'll have a solution for it. And I know, speaking of co hackathons, I'm looking forward to when we set one up here. Maybe May, maybe
Sure.
June. We're definitely going to have to do something, because it's we've already got so many synergies between our projects, where you guys are providing data storage and we provide data analysis, and to be able to find some fun ways to help people build awesome stuff and using blockchain technologies, and especially to take that. I love the way you have a blockchain agnostic view, where you can really look at the benefits and the value that different chains have. And yeah, I'm a little bit allergic to maximalism, though it also fascinates me as a concept. So it's relieving to see someone who's so excited about many different ecosystems. But before we wrap up here, one of the things I was wondering that you had mentioned on about specifically like bounties and these different programs that they can support people who want to build with a technology. What is it that you guys look for when it comes to people who are, let's say they want to submit a proposal for I don't think bounty was the word that you used, but I'm having a brain fart here. I forgot what the word is, but whenever somebody is wanting to send a proposal to build something with Crust, what kind of proposals do you guys get? And then what advice would you have for developers who may be wanting to propose solutions for you guys to consider?
Yes, actually, all the like all the types of proposal we are accept, both on like maybe you have ideas about our SDK, or you have ideas about our like the whole protocol stack. You want to like improve the whole protocol, because you know, we are based on the substrate, so we're super easy to do a forkless upgrade, right? So if you have any like suggestions about our like layer one protocols, you can propose it to create like a CIP, Crust IP, and you can choose which part of the protocol you want to improve. And also we encourage people to improve on the whole like developer toolkit, like the SDK. And we definitely want to like provide different language SDKs, like maybe Rust, maybe C++, and that did in we need people to like contribute to our like the
So
whole
yeah,
ecosystem.
you have like the $30,000 bounties here, but there needs to be people to be able to build these cool different things.
Yes, yes,
Huh.
definitely. And what actually we to accept several cool project built upon Crust with the Crust grants. Like we have a
Grants,
like
that's the word I was looking for.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so actually we have Sock Bay, which they like create a decentralized YouTube platform based
Oh,
on the Crust. Yeah, they just store the like the video stuff
that is
on
so
the.
cool.
Yes, you should check it out. Yeah,
I will for sure. I was thinking about so it's stock pay.
Sock Bay, SOC Bay, the Bay Area Bay.
Oh,
Yes.
I see. Okay, I have to look that up then.
Yeah. And also we have we actually have you know the Subscan, right? But we just they just apply to doing like a storage module for us, like browse all the stuff because we also using a Subscript like the
Mhm.
brow like the whole like data analysis or the data integration stuff because the subscript is super easy to use. They are like using the GraphQL language because so we can very easy to like query data for us. So we just integrate the subscript into our Crust wallet, so user can very easy to like calculate the files. So that's the concept from our network. But they're just using the subscript to like browse all the like query all the stuff, and that's super fast and also which is decentralized. And so anyway, the Subscan just create a section or the page called storage for our platform, so
Mm.
the users can very easy to like browse all the data by using the Subscan. So that's pretty much like the data integration, but with the website. So like the UI stuff. Yeah.
Those are awesome projects. Well, last question I've got for you before I'm heading out here, and it is selfish question actually. What is it, as someone who uses Subsquid and a project that uses Subsquid, what made you guys decide to go with Subsquid as opposed to alternative options on the market?
Okay, so there's a bunch of like toolkits we integrate with the Subscript. The first one is I mentioned with the like the file calculate stuff with the Crust Wallet, which is a Chrome extension application. It just query all the like the marketing file stuff. You can treat it as the Uber drivers needs to like they need to get the reward back. So they need to
Yeah.
like calculate all the like ordering stuff or the tax stuff. Finally, they can like get the reward back. So that's pretty like the file calculation features in the Crust. But
Wow.
we do not have the direct interface to access with the blockchain itself. So we need to do some of the data integration stuff with either we just build ourselves with a centralized service, or we choose a decentralized service like the Subscript. So we're just using this into our Crust wallet. And also we have a toolkit in the miner side. They need to access doing some like ordering gathering stuff like the gathering feature functions in the miner side. They need to like make sure they pick the like like the proper orders for them. So they are just with this function we're also using the Subscript to like make the miners to choose the proper like orders for them, because the whole like ordering matching system is online, but the miners still needs have rights to choose which orders I want to
Yeah,
use.
that is a lot going on. That's really cool.
Yeah, so that's like the we also have some like small toolkit with the sub, but it's pretty much like the internal. So yeah, we're just choosing. Yes.
Well, thanks for that. We love having you as a partner, and I know that we've got some pretty cool things planned in this next season. I don't know when we'll be doing a hackathon or the next event, but I'm looking forward to it. Before I go, are there any questions that I can answer, or anything else you want to bring up before we leave?
Yes, because I know some like I mentioned, the most like biggest scenario is about block storage, right? So the Subsquid actually doing the data integration or and the browser or the query stuff using the GraphQL, which I think is great. But what's the next step using do you guys think about like store all the block data using a super decentralized way, or build top on, for example, build top on like IPFS stuff, like doing like more general like browsers things, maybe some like now you're like doing the blockchain, but maybe did you guys plan to do some database stuff? Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's my question.
absolutely. Great question. So it's one of the things where our main focus at the moment is to get a working product for the API building tool that's able to separate the archives, this massive amounts of data, like you said, from the processor. And really getting that fine-tuned to be scalable. I think right now we've got about 36 partners and we're growing super, super fast. What we envisioned though is to have a completely decentralized solution from A to Z that works out of the box, all the way from storage, which definitely is where we like to communicate and find out what are the best ways to make sure there's as many nodes in the system as possible to be able to make sure the data is protected, but also to make sure that when it comes down to the actual APIs themselves, that there's multiple people that are able to, if they think there's a better way to gather data from something, they can create their own squid, which is, for all intents and purposes, an API. So we're coming out with our own token. It'll be later on this year, probably closer to Q4, maybe Q3 if everything goes splendidly. But that's really set up to be an incentive model to help encourage people to not only operate their own archives, where the more people who operate an archive, the more decentralized it becomes, because there's less probability of a bad actor going in and trying to suggest false block information. At the same
Yeah.
time, though, from the API side of things, by making it to where APIs can become much more usable and more efficient, it makes it so that then developers can use the same information and kind of recycle the formula. So that way, then it's easier to build. So let's say a DeFi application is wanting to learn more about what's happening within a liquidity pool. There's some kind of alert monitoring system that can tell if a whale has just dropped a bunch of TVL into something. These systems can already be pre-built, which is really important to us because from a community standpoint, it becomes so much easier to serve people if there's a fully decentralized format that is also self-correcting. So the moment something comes out, if someone sees a better way to put it together, they're going to do that, and they're probably going to be getting a lot more attention on their solution versus the alternative solutions. And then the same thing with the archives is for people who are maintaining the most stable records in the archives, it makes it to where the incentive model encourages people to will not be a bad actor and try to fudge any block numbers or anything like that. And of course, we are looking, of course, at how do we plug every single piece of this puzzle that over the course of becoming a DAO, which is quite like you described, it's a challenging process. Game theory is no joke, but it's something where we see it as refine the product, launch the token, and encourage massive community adoption, and then really fine tune the DAO aspect of things. So that way, ideally, this becomes something that's bigger than any one person, any group of people. And in fact, even as a core team, it's something where really it's like what I guess a democratic system was kind of initially started out as, which is that we're here for the people, we're here for the community, and we work for them to build out what needs to happen. And that's really the ultimate vision of how to fully decentralize this solution. So then the biggest thing, and it sounds maybe a little bit overly simplistic, but it's to make it to where the data that's on chain, it's not, we don't feel like it's really decentralized if people can't access it. If someone wants to go look at what happened on Ethereum a year ago and see how is that changed from a year, from now, a year later, and to go through all of that data, it's a very specific type of person, a data analyst going to be able to pull that information out. And when we go to Substrate, it's even more difficult with the events and extrinsics, with the different runtime upgrades for each individual parachain. And then
Yes.
the form, the type documentation is never maintained properly. So we want to
Yes.
make it so that anybody can access this information, because that makes it to where then this information can be shared and grown. And I go into all of that because while decentralization is absolutely where we want to go to, it's why we want to go there, which is to empower people to use the information that's available.
Yes. Wow. That's a lot of like informations to me. Yes. Yes. That
Yeah,
make
man.
me start thinking right now. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's very great. Yes. Good to hear that.
absolutely. Well, Luke, we're coming up on the end of an hour, and let me just check real quick. I don't know if we have any questions, but for our folks that are watching, community members, thank you so much for being here. Drop a question if you guys have anything else. I see question about the white paper. Yes, Kevin, I will drop that in a comment. Actually, where's the best place to put that? I'm gonna have to go find it somewhere, but I'll drop that into a comment on YouTube, and then I'm not sure where you're coming from, but it looks like you're on YouTube, so you'll be able to see
Okay.
it there shortly after this video. Well, everybody, thank you for joining. Luke, thank you so much for your time. What is it where you're at? Is it morning over there, or are you in
Hey,
this side?
yeah, it's morning. I'm in the EST. Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Well, hope you have a good rest of the morning, my friend. Until next time. Bye for now.
Why?